I've got Kevin J Johnston here with me, fresh out of jail. Um, it's been a really strange uh, 48 hours for you, Kevin. It's nice to see you again. I really think that I'm not Kevin, Jason Kenney was behind all this. It's very funny that you get put in jail, and then the minute you get put in jail, this premier of Alberta comes out and says, this guy's a nut bar. Kevin, first of all, I just want to ask, how are you doing? How is everything? Did they treat you good in there?
Well, Michael, first off, thanks for having me. A
Mhm.
pleasure to see you as always. I mean, you know the way it works, man. I love seeing, chatting with, and hanging around the amazing Michael Arana.
Mhm.
Um, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Kevin J Johnston, born in Toronto, lived in Mississauga and the Greater Toronto area.
Well, we
I,
all know, Kevin. We love your videos.
no, there we go.
You're
But
pretty famous in the nation here.
well, I appreciate that. Thank you for saying so. Uh, I had to leave Ontario. There's almost no opportunity there. There's no work there. The culture, the Canadian culture there has been watered down, not just by illegal immigration, but by just the sheer laziness, the sheer Marxist ideology that we have to tolerate in that region. Unfortunately, Southern Ontario, which encompasses the city of Hamilton, which is our Pittsburgh, Steeltown, Niagara Falls. You've got Oakville, which is very rich. You've got my hometown of Mississauga, 1.1 million people. You have Toronto. And so there's a lot of cities in that area. And all of the politics there are left wing. All of the politics there are heavily influenced by radical Islam. I've got all the evidence in the world to back what I'm saying, but it doesn't matter because no one's listening. So, with all of the criminal harassment that I was receiving by the Peel Regional Police Department out there. Some by Toronto Police, not as much, nowhere near as much, but Peel Regional Police were instructed by the Mayor, Bonnie Crombie, to make me as miserable as possible, constantly arresting me. None of which went public. So, I mean, I couldn't even benefit from the arrests unless I went live on Instagram, which I did the last time they arrested me for not wearing a mask, I might add. And they had to release me 3 hours later because my lawyer had pre negotiated that. But I figure, I can't be around Marxism anymore because I'm a hardworking guy. I wake up, I get my day prepped. When the gyms are open, I hit the gym. When they're not, I go jogging, and then I work really hard. And all I ever wanted in this lifetime was to work really hard and get myself a fair wage. I don't need to be a millionaire to be happy, just a fair wage for my efforts, and then head back and hang out with my family. And Ontario does not afford that opportunity nor that right. I had to leave. So I'm a pure Albertan now. I'm a Calgarian now, and that's not going to change. They're already trying to chase me out of the province. That's not going to happen.
Right.
The people in Calgary are so pleasant and so fun loving and so loving and caring in general of their fellow man and woman that why would I leave? I have in Calgary what I had in the Toronto area in the 70s and 80s. People ring the
Right.
doorbell and they've got food saying, "Hi, I'm in the neighborhood. I thought I would bring this casserole over. Do you have 10 minutes?" And I say, "Yeah, like come in, have some coffee. Sit, chat for 15 minutes."
Right.
That's the way it used to be. Or you could go to someone's house and just say, "Hey, listen, I thought I'd hang out for 5 minutes." You sit down on the couch for a few minutes and chat. In Toronto, it got to the point where people are ringing my doorbell. Usually it's the police harassing me or asking me stupid questions or reminding me not to talk about Mayor Bonnie Crombie on Twitter. At the time I was on Twitter, never again. Or it's people saying, I want, help me with this, do this for me. I had to leave Toronto.
So,
That's why I'm in Alberta. So,
and now you're
and
right.
I learned that lesson, Mike. I mean, I was in Alberta, in Calgary specifically, 2 weeks before the Calgary Stampede back in 1988, and I couldn't believe how amazing people were. I'm walking down the street, and people are saying, "Hey, come on there, youngster, join us. Sit down, eat," and people they buy you food. Yeah. So
So,
anyway,
oh yeah, but now back to, because with the arrest, like this is very serious and very eye opening, and I want to
mm,
get really into this because I think that a lot of things are going to happen. First, can you explain why were you arrested? I mean, why? What was
okay.
the charge?
Well, let's tell the truth. Is
Okay.
because the conservative Christian polls have come out, and I'm polling number one in this mayor race out of 15 candidates. 3 of the candidates are current sitting city councilors in Calgary, which means that I need to disappoint all three of them. All three of them need to be out of a job when I
Mhm.
take the mayor's seat. And they are nervous beyond reproach because I warned Alberta Health Services. It was not a threat, it was a promise that when I am mayor, all the AHS inspectors that have gone into every Calgary business and have criminally harassed them have committed the following crimes. Like, you go into someone's place and make threats, you're guilty of the following crimes: criminal trespass, that's number one; criminal harassment, extortion, um, intimidation, terrorism, coercion. This is very serious stuff. And because Calgary Mayor Naheed Nenshi is a far left radical, as is our Premier Jason Kenney, as is our top doctor, she's not even a doctor, Dina Henshaw, they want to protect the AHS inspectors because the AHS inspectors are what are being used to terrorize the people of Calgary. But
And then
the
maybe the
AHS inspectors are the ones that actually have access directly to the police. They can call the police and say, I want to go criminally harass and extort somebody. Please come with me. And the cops go and offer bodyguard services. So the police have reduced themselves to process serving and to bullying. That's all that they
body.
have become.
And so
Now,
now, yeah, then they had this whole restraining order
no,
BS.
no. Let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about the original piece of paper that came out.
Okay.
There was a piece of paper put out by a Justice Rook. Now, apparently, he's a far left individual as well. And this guy wrote
And we got
an order. Yeah, this guy wrote an order that stated, and it was served to Chris Scott, who owns the Whistle Stop Cafe, a restaurant that's almost 2.25 hours away from Calgary. And it said Jane Does and John Does. And he thought he was going to get away with this, which essentially meant that this piece of paper now pertains to 4.5 million Albertans, all of you, babies, whoever it might be. And in this order, it says you will comply with wearing a mask. You will comply with not shaking hands and not touching people and hugging people and being in the area. Otherwise, we're going to give police discretion. The police, if they see you hugging someone or shaking hands or having a conversation with somebody, even outdoors in a park, have the discretion to issue a summons to appear in court or give you a ticket or go over there and say, hey, you should consider not doing this, or full powers of arrest. Now, this is
So
a not. Go ahead.
let me just straighten. Okay, so you're saying that this pinhead judge Rook, who I
Yes.
understand you were in front of, so I know you can't
No,
be.
I was never in front of this guy. I have no idea what he looks like. I don't know him.
Oh, okay, because that's what I heard. But okay,
No,
okay,
he just wrote the order.
okay. So this pinhead, this fool judge Rook, decides I'm going to write some decree here that gives police the authority to harass anybody who breaks any of these rules like that. Now, where the hell does he get this power from?
Well,
Is
he
this
doesn't have that kind of, no, he doesn't have that kind of power because that essentially, a court order like that affects 4.5 million people, that's the type of thing you have to vote on in provincial parliament.
exactly in the
Like, that's
parliament?
a law. He's trying to make it a law that, yeah. So he wrote this invalid, unlawful piece of junk document. It's the worst document I've ever seen written in my
Yeah.
life. And then convinces police that they have unmistakable powers to assault, kidnap, detain, and steal. And the police believe that they do. That's the problem. But that's not just Calgary police. That's Edmonton police, and that's the RCMP. That's all of the police departments here. Now, a lot of the guys, I have conversations with a lot of people, including police. I'm not going to stop having conversations with the cops. This is not a matter of I'm going to say I hate the police and I'm going to defund the police. That's not the stance I'm taking. I don't trust them anymore, but they are going to now have to repair that relationship with me, not me with them. They with me, because I'm the one
Yeah.
who's going to win the mayor's seat.
They're as necessary as taxes, okay? People don't necessarily trust taxes, but we need them. I'm not saying we got to get rid of police, but we also need to hold them accountable because they've got a
Every
lot
single
of
time.
power. Now,
Every
is this
single officer and every single department must be held accountable. Now,
right?
let's get a little bit further into this.
Yeah.
This document was determined to be unlawful, and the
Mhm.
JCCF, the Justice Center, came out and fought it, and they had it changed, altered. So now it only pertained to Chris Scott, Chris Scott, the owner of the restaurant and his business partner, and not the rest of Alberta. But because AHS, Alberta Health Services, know how serious I am about locking them up and charging them with everything and helping the citizens of Calgary sue them and take their houses, take their cars, take their bank accounts, take whatever they've got. AHS is going to be held accountable. Their lives are going to suck because they're going to be broke and in jail. That's just how it works when I am mayor. They don't want that. They are terrified I'm going to win. So there's a lawyer. His last name is Jackson. And he decides that because I was campaigning and shaking hands and handing out my hats, these amazing Make Calgary Great Again hats, he decides, not a judge, a lawyer decides, I'm going to call Calgary Police and have Calgary Police pick this guy up. But they based it on the May 6th order and not the May 13th order. The May 13th order only pertains to 2 people, no one else. So there's no document that states that I must abide by anything in Alberta with my name on it that's ever legally been served to me. Ever, ever, ever. Not once, not now, not ever. So for the police to do this, the cops would have known in advance that what they were doing was illegal. They had to work with the May 13th order and not the May 6th order. All right.
So let's get this straight here then. Okay.
No, I got more. Okay.
I'll simplify it and then I'll let you. So let's just
you go ahead. You
where we are right now so that the viewers can know. So May 6th order, judge says, we're going to include everybody in Alberta that you cannot do this, this, and this, and this, or the police have the a right to arrest, detain, harass, whatever. That's unconstitutional. It wasn't put in Parliament, all that. So now the May 13th order, this this judge says, okay. This order only pertains to Chris Scott of Whistle Stop Cafe. He can't do this, or this, or the police can do all that stuff to him. But the police now decide that they're going to use the original May 6th order to come and get you and bust you up, which is an order which was deemed to be inappropriate. Is that where we're at right now?
That's exactly where we're at. Okay.
Right.
Now, this is the other part. This is where Calgary Police have lost my trust. What they could have done was been adults about it. They could have been men about it. They were present when I was at the park, not breaking the law and campaigning. That's what I was doing. I was I'm here. There's the shirt right there. I'm running for mayor. There's the signs. Okay. There's the signs. I'm running for mayor. We've got something like 2,500 signs around the city now. We've got something like 10,000 brochures that were sent out. There's me all over the news. There's my daily podcast. There's just so much social media buzz about me right now that if you ask anybody in Calgary who's running for mayor, I'm the only name they know.
Exactly.
But let's cover this. The police did not want to arrest me when all the cameras were running and all the people were around, because they would have had to deal with the public filming them and yelling at them and so on. And I've seen the facial expressions of Calgary Police when people challenge them. It's not bravery. It's actually retreat and fear, because people are no longer afraid of the police. And that's on them. I didn't do that. They did.
Yeah. With their own stupidity.
That's right. And their own behavior. I mean, and they're hiding behind the excuse that I'm just following orders. Well, that did not work in the Nuremberg trials. And if Nuremberg trials ever came back here, it won't work here either. But let's get back to the rest of it. They waited until I was in the car with my photographer, Logan. And that's when they pull us over. Woo, woo, woo. 7 or 8 police vehicles, big van, big truck, pickup truck, police cars, the whole bit. And they all get out and they've all got their thumbs in their gun belt. Now they're brave. Because it's me and one other guy. All right. Now, every police officer in this country knows that I've never hit a police officer. I will never hit a police officer. I'm not going to touch a police officer unless it's shaking hands in a friendly gesture. I just don't do it. And I advocate for everybody, don't touch the police. Let's work it out in the courts. The cops are wrong 90% of the time in their arrests, but don't hit, don't strike, don't throw things at them. Don't use weapons. Don't do any of that, because they're going to lock you up for a very long time. The judge is always fine with the police. Like you're going to lose by default. So don't do it. The other thing too, Mike, is that I've also gone out of my way to make sure that I do not ever use violence unless I am defending myself.
And yet you got CBC out there saying this racist, violent individual may now have access to the information of Calgarians, which, by the way, all mayoral candidates have the right to get. So that
not anymore. Not
Not,
Elections Calgary has said nobody can have it. So
oh,
I'm
okay.
I'm
I bet
I'm
I
suing
know.
them for that because that list is something. I've got a lot of volunteers. My team now is
Which
over 200 people.
I'll
We
tell
want
you.
to phone everyone and say,
Yeah.
hi, will you be voting for Kevin J. Johnston?
I mean, to be honest with you, I actually don't think that they should have the information, but they're not doing this because of integral reasons. They're doing it just to spite you. Go on the
Yes.
phone book and go call them up,
Well,
Kevin.
they can spite me if they want because it's more free press. I mean, Global News is talking about the fact that that list is no longer available. And the other mayoral candidates are going, oh, man, like this Kevin J. Johnston, he ruined it for us. No, City Council did and Elections Calgary did. Don't put the blame on me.
Absolutely.
I
I mean,
am not taking blame for anybody else's actions.
yeah. Why would they? They should be siding with you. This is how you know that these people work on the inside, and you're the only outsider there.
You're right.
Did you threaten physical harm on any Alberta Health Services
Nope.
employee? Okay.
No. Here's the threat. Okay. Here's the way it works. When
Yeah.
I become mayor on day number 1, I tell everybody in Calgary, go back to work.
Absolutely.
Jason Kenney is a coward. He's useless. There's nothing he can do to stop us. We have Calgary police who now work for me, who will do what I say. We will protect Calgarians with this police force. Go to work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to set up a hotline in advance. I'm
Good.
going to drop my own cash into it. It's going to be real simple. That if an AHS, Alberta Health Services loser comes in, then you phone the hotline. And if I'm close, I come running, but also the cops come running to arrest that individual for all of the following all the previously listed charges. That's how it's going to work. Now, let's be honest here. What I was talking about was citizen's arrest. Here's what has to happen for anything that I said to be true. I have to win the mayorship, which I will. Calgary police would have to refuse to take my criminal complaint against AHS, which they won't. But let's imagine they do. Then I go to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Alberta and I file my criminal complaint there. If they ignore me, I lay private charges. If the judge or the justice of the peace ignores me, then I have to build a militia and issue command or orders, and I would be part of it for citizen's arrest for all of the above heinous crimes, and we become the Crown prosecutor. Now,
so that's what you were referring to.
That's exactly what I'm referring to.
Going to the house and go shoot them up, burn their house.
I would never shoot anybody who's unarmed. I would never shoot anybody who was not threatening my life directly, and I knew the threat to be serious.
Of course, I know.
Period. And I don't own guns.
Yeah, and that's what I said. And
who am I shooting in with what? Okay.
Yeah, we've seen you on these when we review your videos. I've always said you have the patience of a saint. Sometimes I see the things that you go through, and I'm just like, Kevin, stop allowing these people to do this. Like I'm getting mad, So no, I didn't believe that for one bloody second. And I saw
also when I said armed, I was clear. I'm going to be armed with paperwork. It's going to be lawsuits. It's going to be injunctions. It's going to be motions. It's going to be legal documents. It's going to be legal letters, legal threats, legal demands. What else do we? Oh, yes. Discoveries. So when we sue someone, I'm going to help Calgarians sue these AHS people. We put them into what's called a discovery, and they have to come in before the trial. And then we get to sit down in a third-party room, which is run by a private business, and we get to ask questions. Do you own a house? Oh, yes, you do. Who's on title? Oh, you are. What's the house's value? What's that? $750,000. Nice. Do you have a car? Oh, you have 2. What are the VIN numbers? Oh, thank you very much. Do you have a bank account? Oh, you do. What's the balance? Okay. And that is when I then apply to the court and say, freeze these assets. Mm-hmm. I can't just take their house, but I can use the courts to take their house.
Absolutely.
And I intend to.
Absolutely.
Good. And I absolutely intend to. Good. So there we go. Now everyone has a better sense of what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Now, the media wants me to look crazy and stupid. Let me tell you this. I'm smarter than every journalist in this country. I'm smarter than every news producer in this country. I'm smarter than most lawyers in this country. And it's because our society has been leaning so far left that I've had no choice, Michael, but to learn this stuff because the left won't leave me alone.
Absolutely.
All I wanted to do is just have a YouTube channel and talk and then go have a banana. But they wouldn't let me do that. Yeah. The left wing has been on my case for 5 straight years. Well, congratulations, left wing. Look what you got.
Kevin,
this guy winning the mayorship. Go ahead.
What are the conditions of your, was it a conditional release?
There are no conditions on my release. There are no conditions on my release at all. I didn't sign anything because this is not a criminal charge.
Exactly.
This is a civil contempt. Civil contempt. Like Like it would be a ticket. Let's say they convict, which they won't because they don't want to set a precedent.
Huh.
It'd be a $500 fine. It's
Okay.
civil. So there are no restrictions on me aside from I must abide by Alberta Health Services. Like that's how this lawyer sounds to me. So they want me to wear a mask, which means that I have to now carry my doctor's note with me everywhere I go.
Was that what they said in court?
No, not specifically. They just said you must abide by Alberta health codes. But the judge, you see, the judge actually appears to be pretty cool in this whole thing. He doesn't want anything to do with this. He's made it clear that he knows that absolutely everybody who's been charged with this is getting off. He didn't word it that way, but he did word it that way if you listen to the way he's saying it. He also told my lawyer that there are going to be new adjustments to that unlawful document that will benefit me in some way. So they're going to be reducing the restrictions on that. And the Alberta health restrictions are being fought right now by the JCCF, but they're also going to be fought by me in court. Yeah. So Alberta Health Services, they got a lot of trouble coming from me. And it's all going to be legal paperwork. And it's going to be me going after their assets and me going after their licenses, whether it's a medical license, a provincial license, or a legal license.
Yeah, that's the way
they have to now put up with me for the next 3 to 5 years.
They've been trying to do that to them in the courts. So now the tables are turned. Kevin, what's your response to Jason Kenney, Premier of Alberta, calling you a nut bar? Kevin, are you a nut bar? I think nut bars make some of the greatest politicians, actually. If you're willing to go to jail for someone's freedom, I think that's the politician for me. What's your response to
well, I'm willing to go to jail and or die for my country if I have to. And when tyranny comes in, I'm also prepared to take up arms and join the appropriate patriot groups and defend that country. Mm-hmm. I am prepared for that. You see, AHS, I made it very clear that all of these people here have decided to go to war with a man who was born for war. I've been to 3 war zones. I've seen this stuff. I mean, it upsets me greatly to see dead children and dead innocent people, but I can handle it.
Yeah.
And I will survive it. And if I need to hide in the jungle for weeks at a time, I'll survive that too.
Oh, yeah.
Like the average person who's up against me right now wouldn't survive any of these places that I've been to. They wouldn't be able to tolerate these places I've gone to. They all want their nail polish and their lipstick and their wine and their cheese and everything else. I don't care about that stuff. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke weed. I don't go to strip joints. I don't have vices that I'm attached to in any way, shape, or form. If I had to disappear into the woods, I can just disappear into the woods. And I will thrive, not survive, but thrive. And that's what's happening here. We've got our society has been deliberately shut down by our own government. And people are barely getting by. They're barely hanging on with their nails. I'm not just surviving in this, I'm thriving in this. And the government's making it very easy for me to thrive because when Jason Kenney goes online and calls me a nut bar, and then 2,000 comments defending me and insulting him show up, well, thank you is all I can say. You want what do I say to Jason Kenney? Thank you for being not the brightest.
Well, what Jason Kenney has done is he's officially put you in the spotlight because here, Kevin, now not only are you the only person of name recognition people know is running for mayor of Calgary because Nenshi ran away, and that's probably due to you. I don't know, maybe. But number 2, I mean, now even the premier. So that means that, all that stuff they did to you in, what was it, 2014? Not 2014, the last mayoral race in Mississauga.
Well, it was all between 2017 and 2018, Michael. I mean,
this race,
yeah.
Gonna,
Well, they're trying to do worse stuff. Bonnie Crombie did it pretty bad in 2017. I made an announcement to a group of over 5,000 people that I was going to be running for mayor in 2018, and they all clapped and cheered and went ballistic.
Not allowing you debates and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, but see, Bonnie Crombie thought she'd play it this way. So she calls Peel Regional Police and tells them to get me off the ballot somehow. So they charge me with willful promotion of hatred, which the entire
talk about that.
Yeah, all the media. Yeah, all the media comes out and says that I've been charged with hate crimes, and they all say plural, and so on. It's not a hate crime. It's a summary charge. So if I was convicted on a summary charge based on political opinions that I have, which is impossible, then it'd be like $1,000 fine, which I would appeal, of course, to get rid of that decision.
Yeah, I've had, white liberals try to white liberal explain to me that how could you support Kevin? He has been charged with hate crime.
Right.
You should know better than this, my little black boy. Be a token for Nahid Nenshi. What? Okay, I want to talk about this thing because I don't really understand it myself. What was the reason for that charge? I know
Bonnie
we have to talk
Crombie.
about it
No,
again.
I'm telling you the truth. Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie did not want me running against her. She thought that I would take a deal. They all thought that I would look at this criminal charge and panic. And the Crown Attorney, who's a scumbag, like this guy is a loser.
Mhm.
He presents to me this sheet. He says, "All right, Mr. Johnston, we're no jail time. It'll be a
Right.
6-month suspended sentence, 2 months in house arrest, 2 months in the strictest probation ever, 2 months of walking around free." That's how he words this to me.
Mhm.
And I can't go on social media nor produce videos for 3 years. I told him to
Okay.
go F him. No, I told him to go F himself right there in the courtroom. And I just sat and I waited for the judge to come out and continue talking to me about everything. And the judge didn't want anything to do with it. He actually walked out of the courtroom early. So,
Good.
well, yeah, for sure. What I'm saying to you here is it was done that way. So they put these ridiculous bail conditions on me, which were very light, but I couldn't be within 100 feet or something, like 30 meters or something of Bonnie Crombie, which meant I couldn't debate.
So,
That's
so
all it was, right?
what was it that they said to you? What was the reason why they brought this up in the first place? What did you do? Like,
Well, I made videos heavily criticizing radical Islam, which at the time was uh, was making a push to have millions. We
right?
saw this millions of Middle Easterners and African males, all under the age of 35, working males, leaving their wives and kids behind, moving into Europe to destabilize the economies. And
Mhm.
I call like all the trouble that's in Europe right now. I was talking about how bad it was going to get 4 years ago. So what the cops did is they just downloaded a bunch of my videos and said, here's the evidence. But they didn't actually scrutinize the videos. They didn't sequester anything. Sorry, I just got to turn my
Did
phone
you
off there.
did you say something like, "Oh, these towel heads," or did you
Nope.
use
Well, I
and
wouldn't use no, I don't use terminology like that.
I know you don't. So, like, I mean, you're criticizing a religion. No, you're not even
No,
doing that.
I was
You're not even
criticizing an ideology, not a religion.
you
And I
not
wasn't
a religion,
criticizing
yeah,
the people either.
ideology. Yeah, you weren't even doing that either. What you were doing is you were saying that this influx of refugees is probably deliberate, which I agree with you. That's what all these wars are happening, trying to destabilize the Middle East, doing other things which we won't get into because but um, creating the greater Israel project and stuff. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but you're saying that all this refugee stuff is used to destabilize the region, and they're saying that you're promoting hatred. They're
Yeah.
saying that you bring them coming here when they really don't want to come here. It's because their region is so effed up right now, not because of them, but because of the destabilization project. And they're
Yes.
coming here, and a lot of them have some ideologies that are not vibing, that don't vibe with our way of life. And you say that, and people say that you're promoting hatred. That
Yes.
doesn't make sense to me, Kevin.
Well, no, it does make sense when you think about the fact that the left wing controls politics in Ontario, and they don't want me a center. Like I am right of center, but like barely. They call me far right, which of course they're getting sued for.
I
But
think you're independent, really.
well, I don't. I'm not part of anything. But if you had to take the current political spectrum and say which one are you on,
Yeah.
and you've got
You're a
10
conservative
10
minded.
radical left and 10 radical right, and zero, you've got this 10 coming down to zero on both sides. I would be about 1.5 on the right side, which
Right.
is fiscal conservatism
You
and
are a
conservatism
conservative
in
minded.
my fiscal and my legal decisions. All right.
You
I'm not
are
going to
your
break windows. I'm
soul.
not going to hit. Yeah.
Yeah, your soul is conservative. You have a conservative background, but you don't belong to any party, but you are a conservative person.
I'm
Like,
not a member of any party. I'm not a
yes.
member of any gang, any group, any affiliations. There is nothing that I have that I am a member of because every time I've joined up, it's benefited the group because of my efforts, but never benefited me. And I've been preaching this now for the last couple of years, not preaching, but stating it. I'm almost 50. I'll be 50 years old this year.
You
If
don't
I'm
look.
going to be getting, oh, well, thank you. But I
Yeah.
mean, if I'm going to be getting into any kind of arrangement where I'm working, there has to be a benefit that goes at least 50-50. And every time I've gotten involved with political groups or affiliations or whatever they want to call themselves, there's always been like 90% me passing on effort and a 10% return on effort. And I can't spend that much time on things like that
You're
because
getting too old for that now.
getting too, yeah, you're right, too old. But since we're down to the last 5 minutes here, I'm just going to quickly finish off.
Yeah,
They put me, when they put me in jail,
yeah, go
yeah, they
ahead.
put me in jail. They call it the remand center. It's a pretty strict place. And because of COVID, which you and I know is a scam, they everybody's been quarantined in there for 14 straight days. There were 3 guys losing their minds because they've been locked up, solitary confinement. It's 22 and a half hours a day that you're locked up in your cell. They're losing their minds, man. You can't talk to people. There's no stimulation. There's no nothing. And that's not, I'm not blaming the guards for that. That's just the policies that Jason Kenney put in. Yeah. Right. And Jason Kenney obviously doesn't give a crap about humanity in any way. If he did, he would let everybody out, let them walk around, let them exercise and so on. But he's not. So that's what they're doing in the prison. They got me to the courthouse on Monday. There's a funny story behind that I told 2 nights ago on my show. But when they had me in the courtroom or the courthouse itself, they wasted a whole day deliberately. They said I had court at 10. They get me to the courthouse for 9. They make me sit until a 2 p.m. court hearing, drag me upstairs, make me sit in another cell until 3. The judge says, okay, I'm free to go. Then I got to go back into the basement, get back into the armored car, and go back to the remand center to get my personal property. But the good news is that this is the great part of it. I got to sit in that van with Pastor Tim Stevens, who runs a Baptist church. He was arrested by police. Mm-hmm. We had a great conversation. And then when we got back to the remand center in holding, I got to sit in the cell with him and talk further. So there's always something that comes of it. And let's also, I'm going to share this with
just
you
like
here.
With me and Adam Skelly.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. You and Adam Skelly got to talk.
Because we went to court together. We weren't in the same cell. He was next door to me. Mm-hmm. We drove together so he's your Adam.
Yeah, he definitely is. And that's it. So I was not mistreated by the staff. Some of the staff, the staff were good, as good as you can possibly get in a prison. It is a prison, no matter how you look at it. And in the courtroom itself, the courthouse, one of the guys, they called them sheriffs in Alberta. One of them was a complete ass, but the rest were okay. I mean, I asked one guy who was Polish, could you loosen my shackles, please? Because I'm starting to get cut here. And he did. And then he says, oh, what you do is you make squares of toilet paper, put it in between your ankles and the shackles and everything's fine. Pull your pants in between. These are tricks from Poland, he said. So like some of the guys are actually pretty cool. And they have a really crappy job. I mean, I can't imagine going to jail for a career every day.
Yeah, well, the guards, people have to understand, they have to separate the guards from police. The guards, they are not the police. They just sit there. They're like babysitters, really. And a lot of them are pretty cool people, too. Like, they're really...
like the story that I told, dude, there was a great guy in there who was arguing, like yelling at the sheriff's office, get this Kevin J Johnston guy out of here. He's front page of the Sun. He's front page. He's all over the news. We can't have him here. They'll blame the remand center, right? He's screaming. And he was doing his job. Is what he was doing. But rest assured, everyone, I'm okay. They gave me $10 million to $15 million worth of free advertising. I don't even know what the value is of the national advertising that I got. If you ask anybody in Calgary who's running for mayor, this is the only name they're going to know. If you're asking anybody to talk about their least favorite Calgarian, it's me. Their favorite Calgarian, it's me. They made me a national name, international name now, because there's a couple of American media outlets have grabbed onto what we're doing. And it's only a matter of time before the American media outlets put me on and I get to tell these stories about how communist this country has become. It's a horrible feeling to be involved in this type of thing where we know that we're right. The cops know that we're right, but everyone's scrambled because there's no leadership. No one knows who's in charge. No one knows what the real rules are. No one knows what the law is. And everyone's just doing what they're told and blaming somebody else. It's all going to crash as a result of a lack of leadership. And all it takes is one good leader to come in. And that's why I'm running, Mike. That's why I'm going to win this election. And I'll fix this town up in less than 6 months. Because it doesn't take much to fix something up, just so long as you tell the left, you're done. We don't care. You tell the lazy, you're fired, and you reward the hardworking. That's how you do it.
Absolutely.
That's how it's going to be.
Well,
I have to go.
30 minutes. Yeah, we said 30 minutes, and I'm a man of my word. You got to go on another show. So I just want to let everyone know KevinJJohnston.me. I hope I got that right.
You
Donate,
did.
donate, 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 donate to this guy. Calgary, you've got an opportunity to vote for someone who's willing to go to jail for your freedom. Vote for this guy, KevinJJohnston.me. Subscribe to him on Bitchute, Kevin J. Johnston. His book, Masks Are BS. I can't say it. Masks Are BS. I love that book. Get it on kevinjjohnston.me. Lacrosse is dead. It's not just about lacrosse. It's pretty much an autobiography, actually, of Kevin. So if you want to understand him more, get that book as well. Great guy, friend of mine for many years, and despite what the leftists and the white liberals who want to try and white liberal explain to me about, hey, you should not support Kevin, I'm going to continue to support Kevin. He's been a great friend of mine, for 5 years. He has supported Arana Nation. He's the reason why I've got over 1,000, 10,000 subscribers. Helped me out through my toughest times and great times. So there, you can put that in your pipe and smoke it. Kevin, it's been nice to talk to you again. I hope to do it again very
It's
soon.
been my extreme pleasure, my friend. I can't wait to see you again soon.
Absolutely. This is the Arana Nation.